What's crack-a-lackin', everybody? Merry Christmas, happy holidays. Your money smart guy, Matt Sapaula here. Hailing to you from the 7 Figure Squad podcast. Welcome to another episode 5-1 here in Dallas, Texas. And joining me in the studio today is my partner here in the Carrollton, Texas office, Mr. Curtis Eatman. What's going on, brother?
What's up, my man? How are you?
You had a good Christmas, man?
Oh, man, it was a blessing. It was
Amen,
a blessing.
bro.
More than I deserve.
Curtis, I know you. We've been partners here, but tell everybody real briefly your background and what are you excited about here, being part of the podcast today?
Yeah, former sports athlete, played D1 a little bit overseas, came back home and got into corporate America. Was noticed really quickly that wasn't going to pay me what I believe I deserve. So got into a little bit of real estate investing, and I was like, man, I still don't have time. And I still have that passive that everyone looks for, right? So got into financial services because I really understood that if you don't understand money, it's 100% opportunity that you are being taken advantage of. And I no longer want to be taken advantage of. I don't want my family to be taken advantage of anymore. So got a part of the game because I wanted to understand the rules of money, be able to teach people that. So it's been fun running with you and your wife. And
it's been good, man.
And what's been thus far. So
have you basically, since coming out here to Dallas, have you doubled your income? Have you seen a significant increase in income working together close more here together in Dallas, as well as your team growing also in Carrollton?
So funny because in corporate America, you're excited about a 3% raise every year, right? Try to keep up with COLA, right? Cost of living adjustment. But here it's been 100% raise.
You have 100% pay raise.
100% raise, yeah.
Due to entrepreneurship.
Yes, yeah.
Right.
With your guidance and leadership, yeah.
So all the people out there worried about it, the story coming into 2023 was like, we're facing a recession. Yeah. Well, the recession never happened in 2023. Well, by the way, a lot of mentally people, I think a lot of people know that, the country's probably there, even though the country and the administration hasn't called it to become a recession. But But at the same time, too, as well, people think that recession is a mentality, a mindset, right? So instead of taking that recession mindset, you said, you know what, let me increase my income by 100%. So you've increased your income by 100% since coming out here to Dallas.
Yes.
No kidding.
Yes, it's exciting. It's exciting, man. My wife's not too mad about it, so let's put it that way.
What's up, Sprang? Good to see you, Spring. And so a lot of great things are happening in your life. I mean, if you guys don't know about Curtis and Spring Eatman working out of our office here, we're going to put a link here at the description center area so you guys can learn more about their story. But how are you liking Dallas, by the way? We're coming from Rancho Cucamonga.
It's a real place,
from LA area, right?
Yes. Yeah. I love Dallas. It's like the center. It's the center of America.
Yeah.
Everyone has to come through it.
Yeah.
Even if you don't want to, because you have to, you have like what's called a layover. Some people get stuck here, right?
Yeah.
But the city's beautiful, culture-wise, diversity-wise. All businesses are moving here, and it's weird because when we go out, everybody wants to do business.
They want to network. They want to connect. Yeah.
And it's like, hey, we're not leaving this table until we figure out how to work together. Yeah. It's so weird from coming from LA, Rancho. It's like everyone's on their own mode in their own little bubble.
Yeah. And your agency put together an event with a couple of guys, invited me out to an event you guys were putting on together. And I'm a big cigar guy, and that's where I got to meet Ken Hamlin, the former safety for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yes.
Got to meet Tony Hills, former Super Bowl champ with the Steelers, because of the event you guys put on, and just the connection that you guys were able to make here in Dallas.
It's crazy, for those that really want to expand their relationships, but real deep relationships, because I think Dallas is like a relationship type of melting pot.
Yeah. A lot of churches around here.
Oh, Bible Belt. Right?
Yeah.
So whatever your cup of tea is, like you can change it.
You want Baptist? or do you want you want conservative, hymnals, whatever.
Whatever you want, they got it. Right? Yeah. It's like a buffet, we call it, right? And even like on the family things of Dallas, what I love about it is like, I remember when we lived in California, you kind of like, wait, where'd my kids go?
Okay.
Like, don't go too far. I can't see you.
Okay.
Right? There used to be rules when I was growing up in California where street lights came on. You better be home.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
But here, like, we don't. Yeah. Like, I don't have a worry.
Yeah.
There's not like like a fear. Like, my kids go out and they're out all throughout the neighborhood. Nice. They're in the neighbor's house. Like, it's different.
Nice.
It's very family oriented on that aspect. So I do love that.
Speaking of family oriented, Curtis and Spring are actually they're a blended family. They got married. You did a very profound thing last year legally. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
You talking about adoption of girls?
Yeah.
So my wife previously was married. Unfortunately, her husband passed away coming home on a motorcycle accident. And then her going through that process of getting out of that, she had two young girls, right? Mm-hmm. And we reconnected back at church. Yeah. It's interesting how God will pull you back together when you're ready to see. So you kind of
knew each other growing up?
Yeah, I knew her since 14.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? Okay. Yeah, it wasn't high school sweethearts and like that. I was going my own route. She was going her own route. And how everything, we always say we were hidden. Like we weren't able to see each other even though we were around each other.
Wow.
You know, so it's
so you guys never dated. You
never dated. Never just more like, hey, what's up? You know, like anything. It was like, oh, she's cute, but like, nothing serious. Never thought about anything past that.
Yeah.
Literally hidden. And it's interesting. I couldn't see her. To say I was blinded. I couldn't see her. And interesting enough, it was one night. It was my mom's birthday. I go out and a couple of my friends were like, hey, Spring's about to have something or celebrate something. I was like, oh, how about I go out too? Yeah. Go meet her really quickly. And I was like, I see you now. So I sent her a message saying, I see you.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, I got you.
Yeah,
I got different lens now.
Different lens now, right? And grew up now. So from there, we've been together ever since. But the girls, I never wanted the girls to ever have like daddy issues. Like, that you're never enough because, you know, you don't have my last name. No, you're going to have my last name, especially if I'm the one providing, protecting for you as well. So, yes, I adopted them. It was a very long process.
Salute.
Very, very long process. But just to see the confidence in and they never felt any attention to make them feel like they were less or anything like that. Yeah. But I remember one time at school, one of my girls, they said, hey, you know, what's your last name? And their previous last name is Parker, right? And she was like, oh, so why is your daddy's last name different? And I remember her coming home and feeling a little different, even though we're still going through that process. I was like, you're never going to feel like that again. And just understand you're nothing different because I chose you. Yeah. Like, well, the other kids we have, like, they're my blood. Like, I got to take care of you. Like, they have my last name on the neck, but I chose you, the girl. So, it was a blessing to be able to do that and to see their confidence in them.
Man, I love hearing that, man. Yeah. It's an honorable thing for a man to do. That's a provider. That's a protector. That's a God thing, bro. I appreciate you doing that and setting an example for many men out there. Yeah, it's all and husbands out there. So what a show we have here today with Courtesy. We got the best Christmas present received when we're reviewing this clip. Avoid this at all costs to not ruin your child's life. The benefits, it's not the things that you might think of. The benefits of regular church attendance while reading the Bible. Again, it's not what you think. And some of the top financial stories heading into 2024, and we got a couple other things we want to discuss here too as well. So, the first one I want to react to. A lot of people have been getting gifts for Christmas. And by the way, if you're watching this right now with a live or replay, what was your best Christmas gift? What was the best present you got over the holidays? Please put it in the comment section below. We'll read some of them here in the live chat if you are watching us live. But let's look at this clip about this husband providing a Christmas gift for his wife. Let's take a look at this.
How kind.
Light bill. You was not in the dark all year long.
And I should have known you was about to do something stupid like
Light bill. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. You've been giving gifts all year. Oh, God. I think
Card note. You're able to go and get your bald head friends all year long to go to the club with you.
You know what?
Card note.
I promise you.
You see what he's doing here?
Oh no, he wants to be on that couch.
You were able to call your bald head friends all year long. Thanks to me. Merry Christmas.
Wow. You're wasting your time to wrap all this stuff just to do that?
At least you wrapped it all, huh? With love.
You had a shuts over your head all year long. Thanks to me. Merry Christmas.
Wow. It's like there's a blueprint of what not to do.
He's
definitely
would you say he's about to sleep on the couch tonight?
Oh, he's on that couch.
So I know it's a joke, but you think it's a little bit of a hint of reality to it?
Yeah, I think there was a lot of ego in that one. And that almost like, and I could see the comments just blasting. That's why you don't need a man, or you go get your own girl. Yeah, all that, like that probably is popping off like crazy, but. I don't think that was a good play. And because that's his queen. So why is he black? But the crazy thing is he flexed on her in front of everybody. We're seeing
it. Camera, but he couldn't have. Do you think she would have known that it was being uploaded? Because I mean, does she have any control about what's being uploaded to the social media profile? I mean, he put it out there, right? He put it on blast.
He put her on blast.
And now we're reacting to it.
Yeah, now we're reacting.
It's not on a podcast.
Yep, getting publicity for sure on that one.
I tell you, I boiled down gifts to things that they'll need, things that they'll read, and if they, depending on their behavior, they've been on Santa's not on Santa's list, something that they want. So I got my kids a bunch of stuff that they need.
Right.
So I gave JoJo a bunch of books. Melanie, I got her first GAT.
Oh,
welcome to Texas.
welcome. She's a local now, right?
Welcome to Texas. She's like, she couldn't believe it. Like, I can own one here. Yeah, you can own one here. So she's happy. She's happy with that. But
Heck yeah.
Yeah. What about you? What's some of the Christmas?
Man, Christmas gifts for my wife. She's always traveling, so she's always on a plane. So we got her some nice little travel gear because she's always trying to use mine.
Yeah.
All right. The kids got them a whole bunch of different stuff. Like my son got him a phone because he's always gone and I'd be able to contact him.
Yeah.
And the girls got her, like, I got a 15-year-old that's about to start driving. Right? I'm scary, right? She's gonna be on the road with me.
Yep.
Or she's gonna be my chauffeur. I don't know yet. We'll talk about it, right? But my point is that she's now going to have a driving lesson. So she's getting her driver's lesson, so we pay for that.
Hers for driving school.
For driving school, yeah, because she has to get ready for that process, and her mom's going crazy with that right now. And all the kids got something, man. Even my baby Nova, 20 months old.
If he's a baby girl, man, she was a model from the minute her face touched oxygen.
Not oxygen.
When you sent me her picture when she was born, I'm like, this is not you. Like Photoshop this. This cannot be your daughter.
Yeah, it takes after her mom. Man.
Wow, bro. So this is a Christmas gift. If you can look at my screen real quick, this is a Christmas gift I give my wife. So if you don't think about my wife, man, my wife is she could care less about Louis, Chanel, Christian, whatever those fancy bags are. I got a Samsonite bag.
Functional,
She's 100% functional, and she's laughing at it. So,
oh man, she's gonna rock that everywhere too. Proud, no, proud. That's a great.
It's black and green. I got the green in there.
Yeah.
So,
but to react back to what you're saying about the video, though, is like, do you really want to show your queen that in that perspective?
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. I don't know if he's trying to be funny or not, but regardless of it, like, and then calling her, her friends.
I think he was just trying to be funny. I think he's trying to be funny. I think it's a very funny moment, but
100%.
But that's what you're supposed to do as a man.
Yeah,
you're supposed to protect the shelter, car, phone, food, light. You're supposed to be able to do that. But I think it's all in good fun, good timing. Speaking of presents, we appreciate you who have watched the launch. And supported the launch of my recent book, Gotcha, right here. So this here became my second bestseller on Amazon, 3 different categories. And we went to Chicago to start a book tour. And so here's a quick summary of how that book tour looked in Oak Brook, a suburb of Chicago, Illinois. Let's take a look at this. Chi-Town. Good to be back here. See you tonight. Song was written by one of our guys in the office, Israel. This is his cut.
Yeah. I had to make a decision. Yeah. I want a life of abundance. Yeah. Don't give a
my baby, my daughter right there.
I want a life of abundance.
This is before she moved to Chicago or Dallas.
Yeah. I had to make a decision. Yeah. I want a life of abundance. I level up to a higher wealth. I like
they passed it in Chicago. Look at that.
Well. You and I, we are
300
not
plus
the same.
people
I
there.
throw a couple stacks in my IUL.
Here's a reason why that's important. If you want to be a millionaire, you're going to be vibrating and speaking and thinking and acting at a much different level than everybody in your friends and family that you grew up with.
I had to make a decision, yeah. I want a life of abundance.
So gotcha, bro. I appreciate y'all supporting the book. It's still out there. Great stocking stuff. A great way for you guys to start off the year 2024, helping you understand the 5 gotchas of money, and which I'll summarize here real quick, which is losses, healthcare, taxation, inflation, and the 5th one, procrastination. So, Curtis, you've been working together with me, and you've been obviously growing your agency. How important has it been for you to really start understanding financial literacy and finding some principles and values to help your clients establish their finances and to avoid some of the mistakes they otherwise would have made?
It's everything. When you sit down across with a family and you start going through where they're at and where they want to go, and you're trying to basically close the gap in essence, right?
Yep.
You notice that the gap usually is financial education.
Yep.
It's because if we just know better, we'll probably do better.
Yep.
And so a lot of people just don't have the information. They don't have access to the information. So when we get to sit in front of families each and every day, to be able to do that, it's literally taking the cape off of us, putting it on the family so that they can be heroes for their own legacy.
Look at that, man. Yeah. Transferring that Superman cape.
Yeah, that's it.
And I'm wondering, do people believe that money can buy them happiness? Can we take a look at this clip about the reality? Can money really help people buy happiness? Oh, okay. I'll tell you what. We just discussed here real quick. All right, here we go. So 75%. If we look at my screen here real quick, 75% of all millennials and 67% of Gen Z say money can buy happiness. And what do the younger generations think about when it comes to their finances? So when you're looking at what this marketplace has done to average person, you imagine graduating college, you straddle student loan debt, you don't have a salary that can take care of you buying a house, student loan debt, car payment, et cetera, because you don't have a lot of money left over. And so a lot of people are feeling a squeeze, even with a college degree. And so you're making good money now. Was there an income level that you felt you were surviving at versus now that you feel like you got breathing room at versus the income level you feel you had some freedoms at? What has been like the income? How has money translated into happiness for you in certain income levels? I'm curious about that.
Yeah, I think, it's so interesting now, inflation now and everything, our buying power. But when you start making, $5,000 a month, you're just like, oh, I'm making some money.
Yeah.
I'm finally got a check.
$5,000 a month.
Yeah. Like, I'm finally getting out. So that's $5 a month. And 10 a month is like, oh, I'm at the 6-figure mark, which, you're perceived like that's the finish line.
Yeah.
Until you start thinking bigger, like, man, I'm really, really broke. Like,
I mean, 10K a month is good. And then you realize not so much.
I can't really do too much, right? After you start making 10K, because usually your expenses just catch right up anyways, right?
Yeah, I mean, the average person out there making money, you're looking at between $50,000 and $60,000 a year, So to make 10K a month, that's double than average.
Yes.
And how is it, how empowering, because you play professional sports, how empowering is it for you to be able to say, you know what, instead of getting a regular job, you experienced a little bit of corporate America.
Yep.
But what's the difference between you saying, I'm going to be happier working for myself versus the safety and security of just a job?
I think the opportunity to print money. I mean,
tell us.
Literally, because literally, like, if you're at a job, you have a cap, as everyone already knows, right? It doesn't matter how hard I work, I can't print more money based on my performance. But in entrepreneurship, I can. So, like,
the opposite is true, though. If you don't perform, you don't get paid.
Exactly. You always get paid for the value you provide to the marketplace. So that's my opinion, right? So, if I want to make 40 this month, I can make 40 this month. I just have to plan a strategy and then go get it, right? In corporate, I can't unless I have a salary at that one with some different type of bonus structure attached to that. But that's rare. That's a very minute type of
There are some interesting TikToks and reels out that was being sent my way about how people are take full advantage of PTO. PTO, I guess, if you're working for somebody, it's called paid time off, right?
Okay.
PTO. So they're showing clips on how to take advantage. What days? Here's how you play PTO to maximize the time that you have off.
Interesting.
So therefore, you can have freedom. Really? But in the same time, paid time off means your employer still
has to pay
you, right?
Interesting.
And so they're doing all the strategy and how to do all this. You know, the first thing that came to my head, if you're doing all the strategy to see how much time you can take off by maximizing the PTO system, why don't you do the same strategy for starting your own business, your own side hustle?
Yeah, for sure.
Because PTO is somebody's willing to pay you.
Exactly.
But if you're taking strategies and how to pay yourself, you got PTO.
Yeah.
You start working for yourself. When's the last time you had a job? Job.
11 years, 12 years.
11 years. 100% solo entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I'm creating my own.
It's like having filet mignon. You can't go back to McDonald's short rib. Can never go back.
Remember when the phase where PHP Patrick promoted me chief distribution officer?
Yeah.
So that was a paid position.
Crazy.
Right? That was a paid position. And I'm like, I got a job again as a chief distribution officer. And then after a while, I'm like, hey, PVD, let me just phase back into building a hierarchy, building my own company within the company.
Right.
But it was different because you're being that salary being held to a certain level of accountability, which I have no problem. But if I'm going to be held to a certain level of accountability, I want that exponential end result, not a trade time for dollars result.
I agree. I like the unknown part of it.
Yeah.
Right, where
unknown upside.
Yeah, I want the upside of anything I can get, because I mean, most of us are going to go into Robinhood account and go and bet on a stock. Like, I'm going to bet on Apple on the upside of it in the future, or bet on Google. But most people don't bet on themselves on the upside of them.
Yeah,
and I think that's the whole purpose of entrepreneurship, is you're willing to bet on other companies to outperform you.
I love it.
So that's kind of my mindset on it.
By the way, that was a bomb right there. If you didn't catch it. Are you willing to passively invest in somebody else and bet more on that, or actively invest in yourself? And speaking of what's going on in 2023, most homes in 2023 were not affordable. Let's take a look at this clip. Most homes are not affordable to buy this past year. Oh, was it? Okay. I thought we had a video on it. Okay. So here, let's take a look at this clip. This article. So most homes in 2023 were not affordable for a typical U.S. household. So just 15.5% of homes for sale were affordable. That's it for a typical U.S. household. The lowest share since Redfin started tracking this a decade ago. A home is deemed affordable if the estimated mortgage payment is no more than 30% of the average local monthly income. So do you remember what your housing cost was to live maybe 10, 15 years ago before you and Spring? How long have you guys been married now?
Over a decade.
Over a decade. Yeah. So let's say you were single. Do you remember what the cost for your own apartment, your own spot?
Like $1,300, maybe $1,200, less than that.
It was $1,300 when I was getting out in 1999. I was living in Irvine, California. It was $1,300 for an apartment. I'm like, yo,
that was expensive, right? I was like, how are we gonna live? Right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
So now you're looking at apartments around here, looking at $2,000
easy.
$2,500 for an apartment. By the way, if you are watching this, whether live or replay, in your city and state, what is the average rent or mortgage payment per month? Please put it in the comment section below. I'm curious. But it says here also in this article, affordability plunged 40% from before the pandemic and 21% from just last year. Redfin says spiking mortgage rates were a key reason why. So normally higher rates should push home prices down. But Redfin also finds the number of affordable homes listed dropped sharply in 2023. That's probably because many people don't want to sell now and give up a much lower mortgage rate. Right. And the tight market has helped keep prices higher. So people that bought a home 3-4 years ago during the real estate boom, oddly enough, during the pandemic, stimulus money, they bought these homes. Remember coming here to Dallas? Remember these lines of homes? 20, 30 people in line waiting to bid on a home.
They were even bidding on rent.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy.
When we first moved to Dallas, Jordan, we rented our first apartment here without even seeing it. We just saw it. Okay, we're still in Chicago. We just rent it right now in Louisville. The house here.
Yeah.
We didn't see it. The first time we saw it was when we were actually moving in, when the moving company was here.
How funny. We did the same exact thing. We paid it we said, here's our bank statements. We'll just pay 3 months in advance.
Just get us a spot.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing available. And so now if you bought a house during that time, what they're saying though is, if you bought a house during that time at a 2%, 3%, 4% rate, they're not selling that house because they see all this equity appreciate.
Exactly.
Nor do they want to refinance because they don't want to double their mortgage payment. So that's why the housing market is kind of settling right here, and why it's not declining is because not a lot of people are filing for foreclosure, et cetera. Right. What do you experience? You deal with clients on a daily basis. What are you hearing from them?
It's interesting because when I was growing up, we will always focus on the purchase price of the property. Mm-hmm. Oh, this price is $500,000. Okay, this price is $300,000. This price is $700,000. It's $1 million. Whatever the price is. Yeah. But today, in our current economy, you have to focus on interest rates. Right. So that interest rate is what you're basically saying is what's affecting the mortgages. Yep. But the real question is, how are people affording the mortgage? Because that's all cash flow. Yep. So if your interest rates keep going up and mortgages keep going up, then you have to have 3 times as much. So if your mortgage is $5,000 a month and you ain't making $15,000 a month, you can't afford that mortgage anymore.
That's it. And that's why there's less affordable homes in the marketplace today.
Yeah. So I started thinking about, when I was growing up, a house was American dream.
Yeah.
Well, now people can't afford a house. Is that now American nightmare now?
That's it. And here's the thing: more people today. So there's a couple of factors coming into this housing market. Is number one, that the average person is competing with like a BlackRock, competing with a with a Vanguard, because they're saying these institutions are buying up neighborhoods.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
And then renting them out.
Yep.
That's number one. Number two is high interest rates.
Yep. It's
affecting a lot of people. People, don't want to pay more for a home because they can't afford a higher mortgage payment. Mm-hmm. The third factor is that they don't live in these certain neighborhoods. So if they can't live in those homes that they want, the interest rates are high, then those neighborhoods are now unaffordable. Yep. Even though 3 years ago they could have lived in it because the rates were a lot lower.
Yep.
And at number four, people's pay. Like they're saying right now, the people are getting paid more. The wages have increased.
Really?
Okay. That's what a lot of these economists are saying. But it's funny that you say that, really, because you deal with clients on a daily basis. They're not saying that.
They're not saying
the
that.
The media's saying that.
Yeah.
But the reality is you deal with clients on a daily, every day you're seeing clients 6 days a week, 6 out of 7 days.
Yeah. I'm not seeing that at all. Like most families today are saying, what can we do to be able to save more, because they'll be able to cut costs. They're looking to cut their expenses because they're not making more. Right, especially during seasons like this, most people are being let go, or most people try to change their balance sheet up, so they let go of people or decrease how much they're paying a salary.
Yep.
So a lot of these families that we deal with each and every day are trying to literally figure out. They're trying to find the glitch, kind of like we're talking about PTO. They're trying to find a glitch in their own household, how to make sure they can buy more with less money.
Yeah, and here's why. If we go back to my screen here, Jordan, this housing crisis started during the Great Recession, 2008. Because they haven't created more homes. So housing experts said the shortage and high prices are main driver record for U.S. homelessness. So here's the thing too as well. As much as inflation has drawn up, okay, let's say you're a home builder.
Yeah.
Okay. You need raw materials.
Yes, you do.
Do you think inflation has affected the price of raw materials?
100% has.
So if it's more expensive to purchase these raw materials, Jordan, let's go back up. If it's more expensive to purchase these raw materials, right? Are you building single family homes that it's affordable? Or if you're going to go as a builder, have a project, do I want to sell a 4, 5, 6, 7,000 square, because the square footage of homes over the last 10, 15, 20 years have also increased. People aren't getting these little 14, 1,500 square foot homes no more, man.
No.
They want these 3,000, 4,000, they want bigger homes.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
but if you want a bigger home,
it's going to cost you more.
It's going to cost you more money.
Yeah.
And so as a home builder, you're trying to figure out what your profitability is at.
Yeah, what's your real net? What after all my expenses?
Yeah.
After I sell, what is my real net at the end of the day? And you're seeing them, but even Dallas, they're still building though.
Yeah,
it's interesting enough. Like they're building,
but everything out here is big though.
There you go.
There's some big homes out here,
huge
compared to Chicago or even California. Would you say the homes compared to California here in Dallas are a lot more square footage wise than they are in California?
Yeah, I mean, it's the best for a marriage. If you ever get in an argument, you got enough room to be able to go and find your different rooms. That's the best for marriage. If your kids are too loud, you got room. In California, you kind of like you can't do too much. So 100% you get more for your buck here.
So your premise also, your question was, is the American dream dead? Well, let's take a look at some of the biggest financial stories coming into 2024. So some of the biggest stories coming into 2024, if we were to break it down, what is going on next year? So the interesting thing about what's going on in America is that people feel that the health of America is great. It looks great, but the average day for the average person is not so great. They're having difficulty making ends meet still. So can we take a look at that video about what's going on in America, about who is really driving this current economy, why this current economy seems to be going so strong? People are like, but I thought interest rates are high, crisis this, recession this. But economists are saying this economy is so stinking strong. And can we forward to that minute section of that clip? We're ready to go. Let's take a look at this clip.
Well, let me tell you specifically what we're going to talk about. Gen Xers say they're going to need over 1.1 million to retire, but most only expect to have about $660,000. That's a $451,000 difference, the largest wealth gap of any generation. So how do they make up for the lost time?
So cut back. So what's going on right now is people are spending more money for housing.
Yep.
People are going out there. The person that's driving this economy right now, very clearly, it's the American consumer.
100%.
So the media will call Americans one or two things from an economic standpoint. They'll either call you a consumer or they'll call you an investor.
Yep.
Guess what we prefer to be called? Investors, because I'm creating value to the economy. I'm producing, I'm creating, contributing to the economy. Consumers spend. So who's driving this economy right now is the consumers, right? And guess what the consumers are buying? Products of the investors, right? So until these consumers can find out how to be their own investor, and what have you learned how to become? I mean, you like wearing nice clothes, right? You're always decked out.
Yeah.
But you've also learned how to become an investor.
Have to be, yeah.
Right? And so that's what's causing a lot of people right now to wonder, can people still spend and consume at this rate in 2024? Mm-hmm. You know that economist Harry Dent?
Yep.
Predict a lot of things. He's expecting one of the biggest economic crashes next year because a lot of things are looking to reverse. But if we could take a look, do we have that that clip there? Are we spending too much money versus saving money as a society? Can we take a look at that one? All right. One more time. Yeah, either I got to stop spending like I'm moving bricks, or I got to start moving bricks like I haven't really decided yet. You better be moving some damn bricks, right? Because here's a challenge. Back to, if we're not, by the way, break that down for us.
Man, it could go real wrong real quick. Basically, because people were spending like money's never going to stop.
That's it.
You know,
that's it.
And they're like, I got to figure out how to make sure this is never going to stop.
That's right.
Right? They haven't decided yet. So,
and so, George, can we go back to that Fox clip about what the cost is about not stacking the bricks the right way? If you keep spending now, going back to what this guy said.
On spending and increase savings. That's all they could possibly do.
Can we rewind a little bit?
When are they going to go?
Let me tell you specifically what we're going to talk about. Gen Xers say they're going to need over 1.1 million to retire, but most only expect to have about $660,000. That's a 451.
Can we stop right there, Jordan? Okay. Can you keep that on the screen? So the thing is,
$1,000.
Gen X is my generation.
Okay.
Mid 40s to late 50s. Okay, this is my generation, the sexiest generation ever created in history of humankind by God. You can thank 90s R&B music for us. Thank you very much.
That's true, though.
But when you're looking at this, okay, what's the rule in retirement? It's the 4% rule, right?
Right.
So let's say the average Gen X expects to retire at $1.1 million expect to need. So what's 4% roughly, ballpark? 4% is $40,000, $41,000 a year.
Yep.
Can the average person survive on $40,000 a year?
No, and that's going to run out in 25 years.
Bro, think about how much $40,000 a year right now is not providing.
Not even the average income.
So I would say to the average Gen X out there looking at $1.1 million to need, if you want to live broke,
yeah.
If you don't want to go nowhere, you just want to do the basic necessities. Yeah. And on top of that, that's not even the worst part. The worst part about it is the middle number is what they expect to have. Because the Gen X generation and every generation thereafter, you got the millennials and the Gen Z, they're not saving for retirement because they're spending it.
100% spending.
And so they're spending it. What the Gen X is supposed to expect then is a $661,000 in retirement savings. If we're using the same 4% rule, you're looking at $24,000 a year in retirement. And so we ask in our workshops, can you live on $40,000 a year? Most people say no.
No.
So what's more comfortable for people? $80,000. Okay. Well, you got to double that number then.
Yeah. What's your plan?
Using the 4% rule. And then if it's in a taxable type of scenario, you're screwed, right? If you expect a loss in your portfolio, if that is exposed to stock market losses,
most are.
Yeah. That's why I wrote the book, The Gotchas, to avoid some of this scenario and that gap, that $451,000 savings gap. How do people make up that $451,000 savings gap?
Needing and receiving are completely two different things. And what people are receiving today is not exactly what they need, and that's clear. So when you start really breaking down, like, your own portfolio, you got to look at, I don't think we're talking about the war on the dollar too, that people are not aware of.
There you go.
Right?
That's right.
Like interest rate is a war on your dollar and you don't understand it's going up. It's affecting your future. And also you got to look at inflation, which is your buying power. It's
massive war on the dollar.
It's
silent tax.
Man, it's killing you. And the taxes, people are, you just mentioned, if your portfolio has never been taxed, you're deferring taxes. When you start taking the money out, it looks good.
Yeah.
You know, your account balance looks good.
Yeah.
But no one ever talks about protecting your equity. So you're okay. So say you are one of these baby boomers that have a 401 or a Gen Xer that has a.
Slow down real quick.
Okay.
I ain't a baby boomer.
I want to age you, my man. You look good. You still look good. You're sexy, right?
I'm still in Gen X, baby.
You still look sexy, right? But let's say you are one of these, Gen Xers that have a 401k that's account balance is $661,000.
Yeah.
Right? It says it on there.
Yeah.
But then you don't account for losses, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
So what if you lose 20% based on something you can't control?
That's why they lost in 2022.
Yeah.
19.7% loss.
Okay. So that's not something foreign. Mm-hmm. So it's happened in the past, so it can happen in the future. So let's say you're one of those that lost or potentially can lose.
Yep.
But also let's talk about what can happen if you don't protect what you've already gained. So I think we've been so focused on growth. So we put our money in products that are only in growth, but we never think about the protection of equity.
Yeah.
Who cares if you grew, let's say you grew 5%.
Yeah.
Who cares if you lost 10%? Because you didn't protect what you gained.
That's right.
So the game is protection combined with the growth.
Because what are you growing from?
Exactly.
So this year they're expecting the stock market to do well. Right, it's gonna have the Cinderella run. It's looking good, by the way.
We hope.
20, but if you lost 19% last year in 2022, and you only got a 23% return this year, you're not even back to square one yet.
Market recovery, you didn't.
That's right. Mm-hmm. And so I was going over one of my kids. We got their policy back from one of their IULs.
Oh, cool.
Right.
Yeah.
So last year they earned zero because it was a negative return. So they earned zero. This year they're earning 9%. right? 2 years ago, they earned 8%. So if you average a 3, 17% divided by 3, they're like 5.5% on average. So the last 3 years, she hasn't lost anything, but she's ahead everybody by 5.6%, and she hasn't had to worry about anything. So that's for her financial foundation money, not for her like speculative money. There's of course different buckets.
Yeah, of course.
But that's where a lot of people think that all their money should be in just one growth bucket without having to create a financial foundation.
I love that. I think so many people talk about the compounding growth so much, but they forget to talk about compounding loss.
Because it could work against you too.
It could work against you the same way you can say it works for you. So I think that's something you got to be aware of. That's pretty cool though. 5.5 every year, no loss.
No loss on average per year, right? She's ahead. Yeah. And so, what are you guys looking forward to in 2024? Are you guys looking at this is going to be an up year, a down year? Please let us know in the comment section below. Give me a thumbs up or give me a thumbs down there with your emojis. Let us know what you are thinking here. Speaking of that, you're looking at 1.1 million portfolio for a Generation X, but this scenario here can not only ruin your financial life, but this scenario here can also ruin your children's financial life. Let's take a look at this clip here about making wrong decision when it comes to this great decision.
The thing that destroys children absolutely is high conflict divorce. Hands down, right? When the two people that they love most in the world hate each other and are willing to spend all of their money fighting and hurting each other, the kids are destroyed, almost to never recover, right? I mean, I have seen so much carnage that the children pay for the parents' inability to get along. And most of the time that's driven by personality disorders. High conflict divorce, there's at least one, if not two, personality disorders driving those kind of cases.
So she's a family law attorney and she's admitting what, my profession is to divorce people.
Yeah.
Right. And so, you obviously, how long you been married now?
10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
We'll be married 9 years. We'll be married 9 years in February.
Yes,
right?
I love it.
It's a wonderful journey, bro.
Yes, it's a blessing. It's a blessing.
I would admit to say this is probably one of the hardest things I've had to do.
Yeah.
And it's not from a sexual standpoint. That to me is the easiest part.
Yeah, easy.
But from a conflict and personality, because you got two different personalities.
Yes.
And then you got to worry about raising a personality within your children.
Being duplicated really quickly. You're like, which one are you? Right.
And we're both alpha males. Yep. So how can we still maintain our alphaness? Because our wives too have that alpha personality. Both are ours, right? Very flamboyant, very expressive, very strong-headed. Yeah. But also at the same time, we're 9 and 10 years married, respectively.
Yeah. I think first when you're choosing your partner, it's a difference between need and want.
There you go. Is it a relationship of convenience, or do we want to be together?
Yes.
Because a lot of people today, because of inflation and cost, they'll get together because it's cheaper for an apartment together. It really is. Ooh, we just nailed the topic right there, bro.
Yeah, it's a big one. And so I think that's a big one. And I think even for, I think a lot of men will not allow their wives to step into their alpha role because of their own personal ego to try to control them. And I think true power is empowering your queen.
Say that one more time.
I think true power is empowering your queen.
Come on.
Because let's go chess. I mean, it's the most powerful piece on the chessboard is the queen.
Queen, that's right.
Yep. But she keeps us to be able to focus on what we need to focus on.
I love that,
which is controlling the empire the right way. So,
right.
I think when you come to this, if they're not on this, I think if you are divorcing, that's a choice obviously you got to make because it just doesn't work anymore. But your kids will have a traumatic experience because she is right. They only want their foundation of love is because you guys love each other, right? And when you separate that love, then their perspective of love is shifted.
You know how business exposes us?
Yeah.
Like our business will turn us inside out of what we need to improve: personal development, skills development, leadership development. Kids will turn you out too as well.
Yes.
Of what you need to improve on as mom, as dad, as a couple together.
Great accountability system.
You think you're the one perfecting your kids. It's actually the other way around. And you've often heard this sometimes. Well, we're just going to stay together for the kids.
No, don't do that.
Right? but what's the flip side then? Okay. Should they then get divorced?
I think.
Or what's the remedial efforts after that to not get divorced?
I think the only reason why you go to divorce is because you can no longer have the MVP to me, which means your morals, values, and principles are no longer on the same page.
Yeah.
If you don't not see a vision together no longer, then okay, I understand that.
Yeah.
But if your moral values and principles are the foundation why you got together in the first place and you're growing together, then you're going to work it out. Unless you lie, cheat, steal, and whatever your principles are beyond that. But other than that, I don't think someone just should stay together just to appease, because now we're not genuine. Now you're not showing true love in the first place. And then they're like, that's what love is?
Yep.
You're faking it?
Yep.
That's not love, though. You know?
Yep.
So
I think there's according to the Bible, there's only really one area why you should get divorced.
Yeah.
It's because of adultery.
Yep. That's it.
Right?
That's what it said.
I would even add in there, reality is if it gets physical. Because there's no
abuse,
reason why should be no abuse in there. And I would say also other times, because a man or a woman can abuse their spouse mentally, emotionally, and even manipulative in spiritually.
Yeah,
in certain areas. So there's the area of manipulation area that has to be addressed very quickly, because if I can't put my hands on you, I got to find some way to attack you because I just want to get at you.
Yeah.
And then it become being your enemy. And by the way, guys, that was some of the earliest things I had to work on and constantly still working on, because, you know, we are a work in progress. But I told her, listen, I'll never cheat. I'll never steal. I'll never take things away from you. Right? Is there moments that she's going to probably disrespect me? Sure.
Yeah.
Is there moments probably I disrespect her? Of course.
Yeah.
And that's something we have to work on. And that's why in the marriage of forgiveness, we always talk about the love, the romantic areas. But man, you know what I found out the most strongest part about love is the forgiveness part.
Yes. Patience and forgiveness.
The forgiveness part.
Patience
and the patience. Right? The fruits of the Spirit. But,
seriously.
But our warning to you, our hope for you, and our prayer for you is that if you love your children, right, and there's got to be a way for you to work that marriage out together where you're still the priority.
Yes.
Right? The kids aren't the priority. You are, mom and dad are the priority. And, you know, it's happened to me being in a situation I had to raise my kids, three kids by myself as a single dad. And I saw the effects of that. And they're now starting to heal from some of that.
Yeah.
There's always going to be a residual. My son's 20 years old and my daughters are 22. They still have childhood trauma. I'm saying this because I let my kids go through this stuff. So don't think that I'm some expert. I went through this type of stuff.
Yeah.
There's an area of their life that they're still going to have to pay for daddy's sins. And I'm going to work forever for the rest of my life to make sure I can patch that up and work things so therefore it doesn't splash over into their marriages and their relationships,
right.
Because of dad's inability to choose right. And how I started choosing right, started going to church, bro.
Really?
I started going to church. And it's in my book, Faith Made Millionaire, what happened to my 30th birthday. Do we have a video here about the benefits of regular church attendance? Let's take a look at this.
When you go to church regularly, the mortality rates go down 20 to 30%.
Wow.
You lead a healthier life. To regularly attend church services, you're more optimistic, you have lower rates of depression, lower rates of suicide, you have greater purpose in life, you are less likely to divorce, you are more self-controlled.
2018, they put this study out. If you take your kids to church in their 20s, they have a 60% higher chance of well-being and happiness. And then a more recent Harvard study talked about how if you go to church, you have a much higher percentage chance, it's like 70% chance of women getting off drugs, exponentially higher chance of decreasing depression, anxiety, increasing life expectancy. Harvard stressed that you can't get those benefits from going to like a country club or some type of community center or something. Yeah. So I think supernaturally, it's crazy how church works like that.
That church really does help us.
Absolutely. 100%. Because it grounds in what you talk about in the MVP.
Yeah.
Morals, values, and principles. Because what most people try to do, they try to live a good life.
Yeah.
Based on what? I'm just a good person.
That's it. Feelings.
But what's the basis of being a good person according to your own definition?
Yeah. It's your perspective in your own self.
In the current time in your life.
Yeah.
You know, when we're looking at the Bible here in Galatians 5, the fruits of the Spirit, love, joy, peace, forbearance. We just talked about forgiveness. Forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. These are good things to learn from. These are great personality traits to learn from. And where do you learn that?
The Bible.
Going to church because, you know, people that are coming there are wanting to be improved. I took another step further. I said, what's the benefits of even just reading the Bible? Reading the Bible, feeling lonely drops 30%. Anger issues drop 32%. Alcoholism drops 57% just from reading the Bible. Sex outside of marriage drops 68% because you're reading the Bible. Feeling spiritually stagnant drops 60%. Viewing pornography drops 61%. Sharing your faith jumps 200%. Discipling others jumps 230% simply from reading the Bible. And guess what? If you're reading the Bible around other people in church that also reading the Bible, guess what that exponentially can do to your life?
I wonder why Bibles have been taken out of school systems.
Interesting. And why religion and faith has dropped significantly.
And then we wonder why we have all these mental illnesses.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a ploy, you know. And
rather get hooked on the Bible than hooked on prescription drugs.
Right. And you can't say that the results that you are mentioning is not something that everybody wants.
Yeah.
Regardless of what your faith may be, like that's the results you want for your family.
Yeah.
That's the results you want for yourself. I even think about my kids, like how stronger they are mentally because of the foundation that they have in regards to going to church.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you know, being able to have that structure, to be able to be inspired from others, the stories in the Bible and everything else. Because us all, like, when you go to church, what are you hearing? A story. It's story time.
Of course.
About what? How someone that didn't deserve it, all right, had grace, got favor, overcame, and blessed and be able to exponentially grow to the next level. So it's inspiration wherever you're at in life to be able to grow.
And that's why in this podcast, we always have the Bible out, because this is our foundation. It doesn't make me perfect at all. It doesn't make Curtis and I or any guest on this podcast or this podcast at all act like we're perfect or better than anybody or holier than thou, that we'll walk on water. All we're saying is that we don't know many areas of our life, but here's the manual. Here's the manual. And by the way, if you want to know about some serious, nasty freaking stories in life, it's in the Bible.
It is, man.
Stories of sexual immorality, gambling, and murder, and all the craziness that you see going on in life. Guess where it's at?
Bible.
At least this gives me a reference of how God wants to restore us to get through life, to start living a better life. And you know, for example, we're breaking down Proverbs and Ecclesiastes, Wealth and Wisdom series on Seven Figure Squad. And just the way I've looked at money differently. And I've been, I think it was like 2000, right before the pandemic, 2019, 2020, I started reading Proverbs and Ecclesiastes differently. It's like, whoa, this guy's the richest and wisest king who ever lived. And this is what he said about money?
Yeah.
This is the way he looked at selecting a wife.
Yeah.
Proverbs 31, a wife of noble character.
Virtuous.
Yeah. Right? Exactly. Yeah. The virtues that would attract him, right? And vice versa too as well. If you want a virtuous, noble woman of character, guess what you got to be too?
You better be a virtuous man.
You better be the same way, you know? And so everybody, and of course everybody today's got, you know, their own opinions about this, but we rest our opinions based on a word in a Bible, in principles that stood the test of humankind. History of humankind is right here versus what happened the last 90 days, the last study, the last survey.
Yeah. I think it's so good that because I think so many people have the perspective that you have to be so holy to be used by God.
Not at all.
Or to be able to impact your community, but it repetitively shows you that he qualifies the unqualified.
Right. I mean, even we're going through Christmas right now, right? Even Jesus had somebody stab him in the back for money.
Isn't that crazy?
Right? So you're going to have people in your life that stab you in the back. You're going to have people in your life steal from you. You have people in your life not do right by you. But how will you respond in a God kind of way that allows you to live a life of happiness, peace, prosperity, where you're still a blessing to other people without being jaded by the downturns of the human experience.
Wow.
You know? So that's it. Speaking of church, the last thing we cover here is some drama and some gossip. That's going on. So tell us what's going on here before we wrap up the show. What's going on with Bishop T.D. Jakes right here in Dallas?
Okay, Potter's house. So he went on the pulpit recently because there was an allegation. He's been accused of having these different type of parties or being associated with these different type of parties. You probably heard of what happened with P. Diddy lately.
Sure.
He's being sued by everybody, you know, because he used to host these different crazy parties, right? And, you know, sexual immorality, all these different things. And as a mega pastor, I guess a lot of people are saying those are suing Diddy that also T.D. Jakes was there. Right. And so he hops on the pulpit. And a lot of people are waiting for his response because it just came out. Like, you know, he got pulled into it.
Right before Christmas.
And everything like that. And so he hops on it. And I don't know if we're going to play the video
or
not.
Want to take a look at the clip?
Yeah, let's look at the clip. And
Bishop T.D. Jakes.
See how he responds
to these allegations.
Some of you logged in or come in out of concern. Some of you come in to hear what I'm going to say. All of you who expect me to address a lie, you can log off.
Peace out.
I will not use this sacred day and this sacred pulpit to address a lie when I have a chance to preach a truth. I will stand straight up, head up, back straight, and preach the unadulterated, infallible word of God. Because that is what the pulpit is for. But there will be a time. So you can stop dragging people and arguing with people and fighting and just log off. All you do is just hit the button. Right there. Log off.
How did you transition from
There is no show here. In the gospel of Satan.
That's the transition right there, man. That's the transition right there. Let's get back to what the Pope is all about. In the gospel. Isn't that crazy? That's what it's got to be. Yeah, well, I think he just addressed it. It's a lie.
Addressed it. Yeah,
he just said it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to address a lie. So that's why, brother, as I've learned to travel all over the country, I've learned to travel with 2-3 people around me at all times.
Wow.
I don't want to get caught up in a position where I'm at, for example, in Chicago, there's people around me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You saw Milton right there.
Yep.
You saw my daughter was there. My daughter stayed in my hotel room.
Good.
Right? Because my daughter ended up being not only accountability partner, but also a shield to say, listen, if there are any allegations of a Matt coming to Chicago away from his wife and I got your book tour, what are you talking about? My dad and I, we stayed in the same hotel. There was nobody else in this hotel room besides family.
Right.
Those type of things. We travel around. So we do these things to protect ourselves because we know
a great system.
People are looking, the higher you go, the more the enemy wants to take you out and embarrass you in the worst ways possible. So as we wrap up, Curtis, I appreciate you being on this podcast, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I'd love to have you come back more often.
Yeah.
What's some of the things that you're excited about, some things that you would like to send people off and just think about in 2024 in the year ahead, whether you're wrapping up 2023 in the way you've been wrapping up a very successful way, and what you're excited about in 2024?
Yeah, I think right now everybody's figuring out going into 2024 what they want to accomplish, right? What you're dreaming about.
Yep.
But I would more than anything focus on what did you do in 2023, the good and the bad. So why did you not accomplish the things that you said you were going to accomplish? Because if you don't start figuring out what's the habits and disciplines that you really truly need to know about yourself to accomplish what you need to accomplish, you're going to be repetitively not hitting the goals that you said you want to accomplish in 2024.
Yeah.
So I think recapping your 2023 and really figuring out more of you. I think a lot of people don't really ask themselves the real deep question is, why did you not go after that? Why were you just excited? Why did you just put a New Year's resolution together, but you didn't go after it? Right? Was it because everybody else around you wanted it, or did you truly want that? And then getting clear on that, then your vibration will change.
Yeah.
And when your vibration changes, your mind gets more creative to go create the plan that you need to go get, and then get accountability system. Like you have a system right now that you just created. I think having an accountability system or having a mentor combined with both of those are definitely going to help you make sure that 2024, it's a high probability that you are the upside.
And be like Curtis and have 100% increase in his income from year to year. So excited, 100% growth in income.
Yeah, family don't ask for no money. I'm just kidding.
It goes in place. They got a plan for it. And so when you look at 2024 ahead, everybody, we're so thankful and grateful that you guys decided to join us on this podcast. We're 51, 52 episodes next week into it. Wow. We've done a lot of interviews here on the Seven Fierce Squad YouTube channel. We've used a podcast now to be as a way for me just not to be so formal behind a whiteboard and a blackboard to kind of teach financial topics, but just to get more in tune with our audience, just casual conversation. But my life started changing around once, number one, I got clear about what I wanted. And more specifically, not clear about what I wanted, I was clear about what I didn't want. Okay, some people don't know really what I want. I just knew what I didn't want. And once I got clear about what I didn't want, naturally what came up to me was, okay, here's what I need to be doing and accomplishing. So therefore, what I don't want starts to get peeled up out of my life and gets getting further and further back in my rearview mirror. And so therefore, if you put yourself in that type of expectation and having a goal, having a plan, so therefore surround yourself with the right people. My prayer, you were there at my 50th birthday party. My prayer was, Lord, please remove the people in my life that I don't have the courage to remove myself. But at the same time, Lord, replace them with the people that I'm meant to serve. And so for a lot of people, they get into an area of comfort with their friends, family associations, peer group, et cetera, but yet they may not be the peer group, friends, and family associations that needs to be around you to get you to the next level what God has purpose for your life in 2024. And so if that's your scenario, you can't get to another level of success in your life based on the same attitudes and behaviors that you are currently at. In other words, if you want to get out of that comfort zone, you got to be uncomfortable. If there's anything to be comfortable with, be comfortable being uncomfortable. And how do you get around that? You got to put yourself in as Pastor Keith Craft at Elevate Life says, you got to put yourself around the right people and the right environment. So therefore the right things can happen. And that's my prayer for you in 2024. Next year, next podcast, we'll be revealing you our word of the year of 2024. Our word of the year of 2023, as you remember, was greatness. Because the enemy of great, is good. Because everybody wants a great bank account and great life and great relationships, but they have a good attitude towards it. That's not going to be able to happen. So we've been able to accomplish a lot of that. A lot of people this year, I've been so thankful and grateful. A lot of people this year has made so much more money this year than have compared to last year. And you're in the office, man.
Yes.
You see guys making 50 grand a month, 80 grand a month, 100 grand a month. It's just crazy how many people we're able to attract here and put in our mix.
Yes.
So therefore the right things can happen. We expect more of that in 2024 in the year ahead. So with that being said, appreciate you guys tuning in. Curtis Ema, appreciate you coming here.
Appreciate you, man.
Stay tuned for next Wednesday. By the way, later on this week, we're going to have a special interview here with Dallas Cowboys. I was about to say Chicago. Dallas Cowboys great safety, Darren Woods, all-time tackling leader of the Dallas Cowboys. His words of wisdom here going to the year ahead because he's an entrepreneur, big-time entrepreneur here in the Dallas area. Transitioning from sports into entrepreneurship. So expect that interview to be dropping here sometime this week. I believe it's going to be Thursday or tomorrow or Friday. But stay posted if you haven't done so already. If you like what the content, like what we're talking about, please subscribe, hit like, and drop your comments below. With that being said, on behalf of Curtis and Eamon from Dallas, Texas, Happy New Year 2024 to you guys. Until we meet again. See you next year. Until we meet again. Continue to live smart, continue to love smart, and be money smart today.